what if most of your customers are not loyal because of your product, not because of your price, and not even because of your quality? What if the real reason they stay or leave has nothing to do with logic at all? Hi, this is Farhad, and I help business owners and real estate leaders grow faster without stress or burnout by sharing what I've learned from 20 years in sales, marketing, and human behavior. And today we're talking about something that quietly controls your growth, your referrals, your retention, and your revenue: brand loyalty psychology. Now stay with me until the end, because I'm going to give you something practical you can use right away to strengthen loyalty in your business. And if you're serious about long-term growth, you're going to want to download the free resource I'll share later. Let's start with something simple but powerful. When growth slows down, most business owners panic. They get busy. They launch new campaigns. They tweak prices. They redesign websites. They start chasing trends. But here's the truth. Tactics don't fix emotional disconnect, and brand loyalty is emotional. We like to believe customers make rational decisions. We think they compare features, study pricing, analyze benefits. But that's not how human beings actually work. People decide with emotion and then justify with logic. That means if someone feels safe with your brand, understood by your brand, respected by your brand, they will stay, even if a competitor is cheaper. This is what I call the emotional anchor. When someone has a positive experience with you, their brain stores that feeling. And every time they come back and you deliver again, that feeling grows stronger. It becomes trust, and trust becomes preference, and preference becomes loyalty. Now here's where it gets interesting. Once loyalty forms emotionally, logic becomes secondary. A loyal customer will overlook small mistakes. They will defend you in conversations. They will recommend you without being asked. That's social proof in action. That's consistency bias. That's identity reinforcement. And those are powerful psychological drivers. Let me explain something called the trust loop. Every interaction your customer has with your brand is either strengthening belief or weakening it. There is no neutral. If they walk into your store and the experience matches their expectation, trust increases. If they open your email and it sounds like you, trust increases. If your service consistently delivers what you promise, trust increases. This repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity creates comfort, and comfort reduces risk. And when risk feels low, buying feels easy. But here's the danger. One inconsistent experience can break the loop. If your marketing promises premium, but your delivery feels average, trust cracks. If your sales message says "we care," but customer service feels rushed, trust cracks. If your brand voice changes every few months because you're chasing trends, trust cracks. And cracked trust spreads quietly. Customers don't always complain. They just drift away. This is why consistency is not boring. Consistency is powerful. Consistency builds belief. Now let's go deeper. The strongest brands don't just sell products. They reflect identity. People don't buy brands. They buy versions of themselves. Think about it. Someone who values sustainability chooses eco-friendly brands not just for the product, but because it reinforces who they believe they are. Someone who sees themselves as ambitious chooses premium services that match that identity. When your brand aligns with your customers' values, lifestyle, and self-image, you move from being a vendor to being part of their story. And once you become part of someone's story, loyalty becomes emotional protection. They don't want to lose you. They don't want to switch. Switching feels like betraying a part of themselves. That's identity alignment. And it's one of the most powerful forces in brand loyalty psychology. But alignment requires clarity. If your messaging is unclear, if your values are inconsistent, if your voice changes constantly, customers feel confused. Confusion kills loyalty. Clarity builds it. Now let's talk about psychological triggers behind long-term retention. The first is familiarity. The more often someone sees your brand in a positive way, the more comfortable they feel. This is called the mere exposure effect. The second trigger is reciprocity. When you provide value, real value, without always asking for something in return, people feel a natural desire to give back. Helpful content, thoughtful follow-ups, small unexpected extras. These create emotional debt in a positive way. The third trigger is anticipation. If customers look forward to hearing from you, look forward to your launches, look forward to your events, you stay top of mind. Anticipation creates emotional energy. It keeps the relationship alive. And then there's trust again. Trust isn't built with big gestures. It's built with small, repeated promises kept. Now let's address something that quietly destroys loyalty: misaligned messaging. This is more common than most business owners realize. Marketing says one thing, sales says another. Delivery does something else. Customers feel the disconnect. And when there's disconnect, belief weakens. When belief weakens, loyalty fades. It doesn't happen overnight. It erodes, slowly, silently. That's why alignment across your brand matters more than flashy campaigns. Your message must match your delivery. Your values must show up in your actions. Your tone must feel consistent across platforms. This is why building systems around brand loyalty is so important. Loyalty should not be accidental. It should be intentional. You need systems that reinforce emotional connection, systems that ensure consistency, systems that capture feedback, systems that protect your brand identity. And this is exactly why I recommend you download the Trust Signal Implementation Framework. This resource helps you identify the key trust signals your brand must consistently show, visually, verbally, and behaviorally, so customers feel secure every step of the journey. Because when trust is systemized, growth becomes predictable. Let me give you something practical right now. Ask yourself these 4 questions. First, what emotion do customers feel immediately after interacting with us? Second, is that emotion consistent across every touchpoint? Third, does our brand clearly reflect the identity our customers aspire to? And fourth, where might we be unintentionally breaking the trust loop? These questions alone can reveal hidden loyalty leaks. Now, here's something most business owners miss. When growth slows, it's rarely because of a lack of effort. It's usually because the emotional connection weakened. And instead of strengthening connection, we add more tactics, more ads, more funnels, more noise. But loyalty doesn't grow from noise. It grows from meaning, from clarity, from alignment, from consistency. Think about your favorite brands. Why do you stay with them? It's rarely about price. It's about how they make you feel. Safe, understood, confident, recognized. And if you can consistently create those feelings in your business, competitors become less threatening because you're no longer competing on features. You're competing on emotion. And emotion is sticky. When you build emotional loyalty, customers forgive small mistakes. They advocate for you. They return without being chased. They refer without being asked. And referrals are the purest form of loyalty. They are social proof amplified. That's influence working naturally. So instead of asking, how do I get more customers? Start asking, how do I deepen emotional trust with the ones I already have? Because retention compounds. Loyal customers spend more over time. They cost less to serve. They market for you, and they stabilize revenue during uncertain times. That's sustainable growth. Not hype, not trends. Foundation. If your business feels busy but not growing, if you feel like you're constantly pushing but not gaining traction, it might not be a strategy problem. It might be a loyalty problem. And loyalty is psychological. It lives in emotion, in identity, in trust, in consistency. When you simplify your systems and align everything around reinforcing those emotional drivers, growth becomes calmer, more predictable, less stressful, and more powerful. So take this seriously. Audit your emotional signals. Strengthen your trust loop. Align your identity messaging. Eliminate mixed signals. And build systems that make loyalty automatic. Download the Trust Signal Implementation Framework and start reinforcing belief in your brand at every touchpoint. Book a call with us if you're serious about taking your business to the next level. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it.